Hey you guys, welcome. This is Dawn from Sign Parties 101 and Sign Party Central, where I teach you guys how to make money doing sign party businesses, whether that's grow it, whether that's start it. We do it online, through kits, in person, all sorts of stuff. So I'm excited because you guys, it has been a long time, almost a year, I think, when I posted my first video on how to do buffalo plaid with this tape method, and I haven't done one since. And so I have people asking me all the time how I do it, and so I figured it was about time that I got back on here. So hey Vanessa, so hey, tell me hello when you get on. Hey Tanya. All right, so, and yes, that is a blank sign behind me. For those of you who don't know, I just moved last month across the country. And I'm just starting to set up my little area here to do my tutorials and stuff. And so literally I have my sign that's eventually going to have my logos on it, but it's just blank right now. So you'll have to just see that. Hey, Shauna. Hey, Jennifer. I'm so excited you guys are here. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. So buffalo plaid. Now, for those of you who want to just do it as a stencil, I have a stencil on signparties101.com under shop, and then stencil files that you guys can just purchase and then use that on your signs if you don't want to do the tape method. But some people, including myself, I love the look of the tape method because I don't know, it just looks more authentic to me rather than the stencil with the lines in it and stuff. But the stencil works out great if you don't want to mess with the tape, or if you just want to maybe do it a little bit easier and whatever. So I'm going to go ahead. Is that the cheat sign? Yeah, Vanessa, you're not supposed to tell. Yes, I did. I did get that at Hobby Lobby. Again, we just moved, and when I had to move my whole entire shop, I got rid of like all of my boards, and I just wanted something right away, and I didn't want to have to go find a piece of birch or whatever. And so I just bought one. It was half off, so I just figured why not. But I am going to cut some stuff and get my logo on there. So hello, hello. All right. So when you're doing buffalo plaid with tape, you do not, the only thing that you need is tape and 3 colors. Now, there are several different ways that you can do this. You know, you can go to YouTube and find different techniques and all that. You do what works for you. What I have found is I like using 3 colors, a light, a dark, and then a mix of the 2. So that's how I do it. When I first started and I didn't really know anything about anything, I tried to get 3 colors that were similar, but yet it didn't really work out. So what I have learned is that you have to take the lighter and the darker and mix them together to get your middle color. So, hey, I am so glad that you guys are saying hi and telling me that where you're from. I love that. So I just moved from Minnesota to Idaho. So I'm way farther west than I have ever been. So that's kind of fun. Okay, so I'm going to do it on a round, but you guys obviously do whatever signs that you want. And to make time go a little bit faster, I already painted this my base color. So this is my first color. So I'm going to do a red and a black buffalo plaid because that's, you know, kind of typical, but you can do it with any colors. I've had people do them with like a white and a tan. I've had people do black and white, teal and white. I've had all sorts of colors. It doesn't matter what color you choose. You just need to keep it within the same family by mixing those light and dark and getting that middle color. So we're going to do red and black. So the first step is to paint your whole base your one color, your lighter color. So that for me is red. Hey, you guys. At the end, I'm going to go through and I'm going to see if there's any questions. If you're new to 101, hello and welcome. I am Dawn. I started a sign party business 4 years ago, and it took off like crazy. I did over 200 parties my first year, and there was 8 of us working. By the end of the year, we were doing 9 parties a week. And when I started, so I have 7 kids, and when I started, they were 11 to 1. So I always tell people in here, if you have kids and you're using that as an excuse not to have a business, I call baloney because if I can do it, anybody can do it. So that's a little bit about me and why I'm here. So anyways, okay, so the first thing you're gonna do is take your tape. Now you can use whatever thickness or width of tape that you want. I've used the 1 inch. I've even cut the 1 inch in half when I do buffalo plaid on my little Christmas trees, if you guys remember that. I think I'm gonna come on here. If you guys want, you'll have to let me know and show you how to buffalo plaid a word, because that is awesome. And I did that last year as well, but it's probably time I show you that again. But with those, I cut little strips. So if you want really small buffalo plaid, go ahead and just cut your tape down. But this is the 2 inch tape, I think, 1.5 inches, 2 inch, because it's a bigger round, and so I want to cover more area, so I'm going to use a longer tape. So, and if you followed me for any amount of time, you know that I don't measure because I hate measuring and I'm not precise. So, and that's why I love rustic, and that's why this is going to be sanded at the end, because that's my jam. So I'm going to take my first piece of tape and I'm going to center it in my board. Now, again, you can measure, you can tape off, you can mark the center. I like starting in the middle and working out, because that way we're going to get equal buffalo plaid on both sides. You can start at the top if you want and work your way down, or down and up, but you're not always going to get the same amount. And so I like starting in the center and then working my way out. So I'm going to put my first one in the center. And again, I'm just going to eyeball it because that's what I do. I don't really care about perfection. That's why I always say my dad is like a woodworker and furniture builder, and my mom is a quilter, and I didn't get any of that because I hate precision. So what I do next is take a little piece of tape and use this as my spacer. So I'm going to put this down. And again, you don't even need to do this. You can, make sure you guys can see that. You can just eyeball it or whatever, but use a little piece of tape as your spacer. And then we're going to take another piece of tape and put it down like that. And then you can just take this one off and move it and go up again and use it as your spacer. And so this one's going to go off the board a little bit. Now this is for that first coat, and we're going to do a mix of the black and the red. So I love, okay, good. Someone else says they like when I don't measure. I thought at first when I started to read it and I said, or I saw that I love to hear you say, I thought you were going to say something about my accent. And so, because I don't have one. And then I was trying to think if I said rag or something, because everybody makes fun of me the way that I say rag or bag or swag. So I was trying to think if I said that, but, because everybody else says it funny, not me. But yeah, I don't measure. So I'm going to end up with a tiny bit on this bottom. So you just want to tape off in even sections for that first, the first thing here. Hey, you guys, I love it. Okay, so we're going to take a little bit of red paint. Doesn't matter what kind of red. This is just, this is my party paint. I buy it at Home Depot. It's just regular wall paint. And then a little bit of black. And I'm going to mix them together just until, I'm actually going to add the darker into the lighter until I get it just a little bit darker. You can kind of watch there. You don't need as much black as you do red. It's almost going to give it like a purple hue, but that's okay. You just want it a little bit darker than the red, but not as dark as the black. So we're going to call that good. I'm going to use the same brush. This is just a 1 inch foam brush, but I'm going to use, Again, you can use whatever. You can use a baby wipe. Actually, I did this background with a baby wipe. If that's something else that you want to learn how to do, it's really simple. You just dip your paint in a baby or with a baby wipe and rub it on your board. So you just take your brush and then just paint where you do not have tape. This is going to take a little bit longer just because I have a larger area to cover, but I'll do it relatively fast. And you don't need a ton because you'll have several different layers. And so your board will be covered. You don't have to worry about that. I did a Christmas party, a few of them actually last year, with this as our main, our main thing that we did was we did buffalo plaid rounds, and then we sanded them down, and then we ended with, that time we did the Kita Lee round designs on it and just stenciled them on when we were done. And you guys, it was one of my favorite parties ever. Everybody loved it. So if you're kind of stuck and you're like, what should I offer this Christmas or this season before Christmas, and what will people like? Try this. Yes, you will use a lot of tape. I will tell you that. Bring somebody along to help you to unroll the masking tape. But really, it is an awesome party idea, and I can guarantee you people will love it. So just keep that in mind if you need something to do. And I know I posted the pictures in here. If not, maybe well, if you can't find them, I'll go back. Maybe when this is done, and I'll post one of my party with the buffalo plaid using rounds and the tape method, and you guys can see how awesome it looked. And then I took a sander to it because you couldn't just leave it regular, right? So I'm gonna just let this dry a second so you can see it's covered pretty well, but I'm not gonna worry about it getting super, super thick. And it's almost dry already, just because I didn't put a lot on. Hey, you guys. Oh, Home Depot has a 3-pack on sale for Black Friday. Got some yesterday. I'm assuming you're talking about the painter's tape. For parties, it dried fast enough. No paint. Yes, it dried fast. Like right now, you can, I don't know if you can see. Can you see that it's not shiny? So it's dry. You're not going to have a problem. I give everybody an extra plate, and we just fan it for a second, and then, I mean, you can always bring a hairdryer or something if you're worried about that, but no, it dried totally fine. So, but I will post those pictures. It was so fun. Everybody loved it. Okay, so when you're done painting, again, we just mixed the red with a little bit of black. When you're done painting that, I want you to take off your tape. I'm gonna just set this aside to reuse it, but I mean, you can get new or whatever you want. So that's my first layer. Now, the second thing you need to do is do the exact same thing except going the other way, okay? So now I'm gonna take more tape, and since I went this way, I'm gonna go this way instead. I'm gonna go up and down. So take your tape, start in the middle, eyeball it where you need to be, and lay it down. And then I'm gonna take my spacer, go on the side, and take some more. This is a good refresher. I know, it even is for me. It has been a while since I've done buffalo plaid. But 'tis the season. Like, this is the perfect time. I like buffalo plaid all year long. Like, everything. Like, give me all the buffalo plaid. But this time of the year, especially, people like buffalo plaid. And I've seen a lot of posts that people are like, oh, is it still in? Can we still do buffalo plaid? Yes. Dawn says it's still okay. I don't know much about, like, you know, all the trendy everything, but I can tell you buffalo plaid is still in. At least in my world. and in my customers' worlds, so I'm going with it. Okay, so again, we're just using the spacer and going the opposite direction that we did the first time. One more little piece of tape here. And then with this next layer of paint, we're gonna do the exact same color, okay? So I'm gonna lay this down. And this is gonna look so weird, and I can guarantee you, especially if you do this at a party, your heart's gonna be pounding and you're gonna be worried that you're doing it wrong because it's gonna look weird. You're not, I promise you. So we're laying down our tape the opposite way that we laid it the first time and painting the exact same color over the top. But the key to this one is that we're gonna leave the tape on, okay? So I'm gonna take a little bit more red here. I'm gonna use my same brush and I'm gonna mix some black into the red and get it about the same color. Now I'm not super uber picky at all, but I will try to mix this enough so it gets to be about the same color that it was. And now I'm just going to paint everywhere that the tape is not. And again, you don't need a super, super thick coat. Just get it down, get it covered. This works great for bigger areas that you need to do rather than using the stencil. You can use the tape so you can cover a larger area and not waste a ton of vinyl. And I love seeing the people that do a different color of buffalo plaid, even with, if you guys are in my board box, this month's design had that buffalo plaid in it. And some people are going totally out of the box with like teals and yellows and navy and all sorts of stuff. And I love, love seeing that because it shows me that you can take something that someone else has created and totally make it your own, right? So do whatever fits you. Okay, so we painted that. Hello, hello. Oh, Melanie, you're so sweet. I miss you. Okay, so we're just going to let this dry. Now, you guys, if you don't use a ton of paint, it's not going to take that long to dry. So again, use a very, very thin coat. But remember, with this step, you're gonna leave the paint or the tape on, okay? So we're not gonna take the tape off. We're gonna leave it on. And this is where it starts to look kind of weird. And you're like, I think you are doing it wrong. And then taking it off at the end is the best part. So we're gonna leave this here. This is just about dry. And then now the last piece of, the last step with the tape, remember we saved that tape from the first time? We're gonna put it back on our sign in the exact same place that we did the first time. Sound weird? I know it sounds weird, but I promise you it's gonna look great. And I even said, like, before I came on, I was like, knowing me, watch me totally mess this up. But it's gonna look great. So take your tape from the very first time and you're gonna put it down exactly where it was the first time. And you're like, well, how do you know where it was? Well, if you measured, you can always go off of that. But I'm gonna try to hold this in the light. You see how I can see where those lines are? So I can kind of see that pattern, and that's how I know where my tape was. So I'm gonna line it up right where that pattern is. And then that way, you know it's in the same spot. So again, we're gonna leave that tape on and put the tape back where it was the very first time. I just looked into that light, so I have a really bright light shining in my eyes. And now it's kind of hard to see my board. Okay. Again, I'll go back and ask if you have any questions. So if you have questions as we're going through this or a comment, I'll go back and look at those in just a minute when I'm done here. Oh, again, this is where you're going to be like, I don't know. I think I'm going to mess it up. Promise you, it's going to look great. And the fun thing is if you do mess it up, just take some sandpaper to it. That's like my answer for everything. If you guys have bleeding on a sign that you can't fix, if you have paint go where you didn't want to, if you don't have it lined up perfectly, just take a palm sander and sand that sucker and it'll look perfect. Okay, so now the paint is, for the tape, I always get those two words mixed up. The tape is down where it was before. So now we have them both going in both directions. And now the last thing to do is paint everything, you're welcome. Paint everything black that's still showing is gonna be black. And actually I am just gonna take, I still have some black on my plate here. I'm gonna take a new brush and just dip it in the black. And then I'm gonna go where I have an open spot. I mean, you can just paint this whole thing, but if you had a roller, you could do that, but that's kind of, I don't know, a little wasteful. So I'm just gonna go and put some black where I have the open spots on my board where the tape is not. No, I'm gonna need more black. Again, this paint is just straight up from Home Depot. That's what I use at all my parties. You guys, you do not have to be fancy. If I have any Sign Party Central people in here watching, they know for sure. There is nothing fancy about me at all. You just start. If you want to do parties, don't worry about having the best totes and the coolest Pinterest setup. Just start. I bring my wood in a Rubbermaid tote, okay? And guess what? Out of all the 600 plus parties I've done, nobody's cared. So, okay, so we're just painting these last squares black, and then this is the funnest part when you take the tape off. Okay, so I'm gonna show you. That's what it looks like. Okay? You're like, I don't know. I still don't know if that's going to be buffalo plaid. And then you start taking the tape off. You can wait for it to dry or you don't have to. It doesn't matter. And then I'm going to take some sandpaper to it at the end. If I was out in my shop, I probably would have taken the orbital sander to it. But instead, I'm just going to do a little bit of sandpaper. You like that? You guys, I have my office manager / assistant.
My jaw just dropped.
She
started clapping.
Her name is Willow, and she just moved here from Minnesota to help me full time with my business. And she, there she is.
Hi.
And she was just watching nice and quietly over here. And then when I took the tape off,
my jaw hit the floor.
I told you it didn't look like it was gonna be buffalo plaid, but then when you take the tape off, that's like the funnest part.
No,
ever.
even I was scared for you because I'm like, Dawn.
Yeah, she was like,
screwed up.
You messed up. That's not the way. Mm-mm. So yeah, so there you go. So that is the base of your buffalo plaid. Again, if you do this at parties, it is so fun. Bring a few rolls of tape, but this is what it looks like. So I am going to, I'm just going to take some really fine sandpaper because I do not like super crisp lines if I'm doing it for the background. So if you noticed my, my post that I did earlier today that said I was going to go live, I had it distressed. It was a planked sign that I did, and I took my sander to it, and I love that look of the distressed coming out. So, so that's what I'm going to do with this one. So this is just, it's 320 grit, so it's really, really fine. I'm just going to take the sandpaper to it for a second. make a mess of my table. There. So that just took like the real crisp edges off of it. And now it's ready to put your design or whatever on. I would say if you do dark like this, always do a bright color on the top. So this, I would want to do white letters. If you do a lighter buffalo plaid, you can do dark letters, but always be mindful of your color. So I wouldn't want to do red on here or even blackwards. You won't be able to see it very well. But you guys, look at, that's the tape method. And it was so simple. And you can wow your customers and your party goers when they come to a party and you do buffalo plaid and they're all like, girl, you've lost it and I've wasted my money. And then they take their tape off and then you're the best thing ever. So, so that's it. That's the tutorial. Again, I think I'm going to come on here and let me know, show me some hearts, if you want me to show you how to do buffalo plaid on a word. It is literally the same, it's the same concept. We do the exact same thing, but we use smaller strips of tape and go right over the word. But it looks so cool when you take it off and then you take your stencil off and your word is all buffalo plaid. So I'm just gonna take a second and scroll way back up to the top to see if there's any questions. And if I missed any, I will go through here. Feel free to tag me and get all your questions answered. And also I wanted to say coming up, I'm super excited because I'm trying to get on the ball. And with moving and everything, we got, things got a little bit crazy and you guys have been going insane over the board box. And so I've been busy with that and Sign Party Central. And so I'm gonna get back in here and start doing tutorials. I would like to do one a week on just all sorts of things, painting techniques, how to make the signs, how to do your backs, how to do planks, how to do frames, whatever else you guys have questions on. I want to give you the tools that you need, especially going into the end of the year. It's a great time to do parties and to do customs, but also for those of you who are hesitant to start parties, you can take this time to learn and then start 2021 with like a bang and go out there and just get it done. I started in January of 2017 was my first year. And I did 4 parties my first month, and then 8 parties my second month, and then 15 my third. And then by the end of the year, we did 200. And so maybe 2020 or 2021 is your year. And so I want to get you guys the help that you need in order to do that if that's where you want to take this. So, all right. Okay. That was a lot of words. Okay, I love it when people say hi to me. So, hey, you guys, I love it. I'm just going to search really fast for any questions that are coming up here. Oh, I see a lot of Sign Party Central people in here. That's awesome. I would love to see how you do buffalo plaid on your mini trees. Okay, we can do that. If you guys, mini trees, I'm trying to think of which. So, for those of you not in Sign Party Central is our membership group where I take those super serious about doing sign parties as a business and give them the tools and training that they need. And every month I do a monthly project. So instead of like just your normal signs, I give you Sign Party Central an idea on what you can do at parties and I show you how to do it and stuff like that. That's aside from just your normal typical sign. And one month we did, I want to try to, I think it was our chunky pumpkins or something. And I showed my little trees that also were great as an upselling tool. And those trees, and it's literally, you guys, you can take a 1x4, you can take a 1x6, whatever, and just cut it in a triangle and paint it buffalo plaid and sell it as a set of 3 for like 15 or 20 bucks. It is some of the easiest way to use your scraps and make extra money. And that's what I'm good at, is upselling and getting people to spend more money at my parties. So, okay, Laura wants to see it in the words. I wonder if washi tape would stick down well enough for the skinny buffalo plaid. You'll have to try it and let me know. I don't know, maybe. Or I would love it if they made like this painter's tape really skinny. I haven't seen any, but okay, I'm just checking for questions here. I love it. Someone else said they have an accent. That's awesome. I know some people, like a neighbor kid, I said couch, and he literally had to ask his mom what I said. I was like, I don't think I talk that funny, but apparently I must have a northern accent. Okay, you guys, I think, again, I'm just trying to, okay, so Dee Dee says, is your tape centered or the edge of the tape? Does that make sense? Yeah, so when I start in the center. Because that way you have equal amounts on both sides, or real close, especially if you don't measure like me. But I ended up with this one is a little bit more, but it's a big enough round that it doesn't really matter. So if you start in the center, you're gonna have more equal sides than if you start on the edge. Does that make sense? It doesn't really matter, you'll get the same effect, but you'll have more equal sides if you start in the center. Okay, she says, Laurel says, what buffalo plaid do you like better, your stencil or the tape? Now, I like both. I kind of prefer the tape just because to me it looks more authentic than the stencil, but the stencil works great for smaller things or things, even at a party, goes a little bit quicker than the tape. You don't have to worry about, deal with all the kind of tape, but I like this look better. So, how are you liking it out west? Good. It's so pretty. We just had a little bit of snow and it's melted, so that's amazing. But it's on the mountains and it's so pretty. Like every time we leave the house, we're like, we can't believe we live here. Like it's just gorgeous. Hello. Let's see. Plus you get a little bit more dimension. Yes. All right. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I think, Melanie says that she's glad that you came to help me. I am glad that she came to help me too, because you guys, it is like, we sent out another 36 packages today, and it's been crazy.
And
so
just getting busier and busier.
And just getting more busy. Yeah.
There's no sign of it slowing down.
She is, she hit the ground running for sure. I didn't even give her a day to unpack. I was like, you're here. Here's your job. Let's go. Here's the shop. Okay, so you guys are amazing. Okay, yay. What kind of paint? So this is just, Home Depot, Glidden Essentials, the cheapest stuff you can get. My paint always bleeds under the tape. Why? Could be the roughness of your board. It could be your tape isn't down well enough, and it could be that you're using too much paint. So I would say make sure your tape is down, make sure you're not using too much paint, and then the roughness of your boards. I wouldn't even say that your boards have to be like smooth as a baby's butt. If you're using not too much paint, you won't get the bleeding. So try to back off on the paint and just make sure your tape is down well. So, Cindy, that's funny. You guys are awesome. Okay, so I am going to end it there. I think I've answered everything. Is she moving to Idaho? Melanie, yes, we did move to Idaho last month. Crazy 1,400 plus miles away. So we are out here. That's it. There's buffalo plaid with your tape. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Thanks for being here and for watching. And tag your friends if they're having problems doing buffalo plaid, or maybe you haven't found a tutorial that you could follow along with or whatever. Just tag them and let them see this. So, oh, Willow, is she moving? Well, she lives with us. So yeah, she's here.
So yeah, I live here.
She moved to Idaho
as far
too.
As I know, she lives
Yeah,
here.
so she lives with us. We just bought a house big enough for 10 of us instead of 9. So so there you go. So, okay, so that is it. Have a great night, you guys, and I will be back soon, and maybe we'll do some more buffalo plaid. All right, take care.